You're not waiting for them to come back. You're waiting for a different answer. They said no. Maybe not in those exact words. Maybe it was silence. Maybe it was a slow fade. Maybe it was, I'm not in the right place right now. But you heard it. Some part of you heard it clearly. And yet, you're still here. Refreshing. Replaying. Rehearsing what you'd say if they came back. This is called ghost waiting. And it's one of the most quietly painful things a person can do to themselves. Ghost waiting isn't about the other person anymore. It stopped being about them the moment they gave you their answer. What you're really doing is negotiating with reality. You're presenting evidence to a jury that isn't there. But we had this moment. But they texted me first. They said they cared. And every piece of evidence feels like a reason to keep the door cracked open. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance. The discomfort of holding two conflicting truths at once. They said no, but I believe they meant yes. And rather than resolve that tension by accepting the no, we resolve it by rewriting the no. We turn, they're not interested into they're just scared. We turn silence into mystery. We turn absence into almost. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Hope is not always a gift. Sometimes hope is a defense mechanism. As long as there's a maybe, there's no grief. As long as you're waiting, you haven't lost. You're just in between. And in between feels safer than over. But here's what that limbo costs you. Every day you spend waiting for a door that closed, you are not opening the door. Every time you check their profile, their story, their last scene, you are pulling yourself back into a room you were already asked to leave. You're not being loyal. You're not being romantic. You're auditing a closed door. And it's exhausting you in ways you might not even recognize. The low-grade sadness, the distraction, the feeling that your life is somehow on hold. It is on hold. You put it there. So how do you stop? Not by hating it. Not by forcing yourself to feel nothing. And not by pretending it didn't mean something, because it did. You stop by deciding to believe the first answer. Not the answer you wanted. The answer you received. There's a quiet, powerful act in saying, I heard you. I'm going to take you at your word. It doesn't require anger. It doesn't require a grand gesture. It just requires you to stop writing a sequel to a story that already ended. Start noticing when you're ghost waiting. When you find yourself constructing scenarios, maybe if I just said this differently, maybe in 6 months, name it out loud. Say, this is ghost waiting. This is me choosing a maybe over my own life. Then redirect. Not to them. To yourself. What do you actually want outside of this person? What have you been postponing because you've been waiting? Your energy is finite. Where you spend it is a decision. Right now, you're spending it on someone who already spent theirs elsewhere. Finality feels brutal, but it's actually a kindness. When something is truly over, you get to grieve it properly. You get to feel the weight of it, set it down, and walk forward without carrying it. Ghost waiting denies you that. It keeps the wound open, not deep enough to heal, not closed enough to move on. Just enough to hurt quietly every day. You deserve more than a maybe from someone who already decided. You deserve a yes that doesn't need decoding. The door closed. That's not failure. That's information. Now, what are you going to do with it?